So, what are we doing now?
So, this basin over here is one of the newer basins that we dug out during a workshop event we had before Tropical Storm Hillary. It's fairly new, but the cool thing is it's a lot of water from this road. All the water coming down this road drains into here. You can see all the sediment build up. So the water gets filtered through these rocks. And you can see how thick the grass is. Very thick, even though this is one of the newer basins. So what we did was, when the workshop was here, we cleaned up this berm and made sure it was at the right angle and the right slope to deliver all the water into this basin. And then we put this rock run down here to stabilize it so this doesn't erode. And that serves multiple functions because it's mulch now. So in between all of these crevices, there's more water in between the rocks, and it's little microclimates. And that's why you have this thick grass. I seeded a variety of native grass and different forbs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's native grass.
That's why it's doing so good.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought maybe I was trying to come up with something like maybe because this basin's so deep.
And
It's like deep and the water combo.
So it kind of gets
native grass.
It kind of gets water from both
sides.
Yeah. So this water doesn't really drain into here.
Mm-hmm.
What actually happens in a flood event, this basin will fill up fairly quickly. You can see, and this outlet is lower than that berm. So,
okay.
So the water, when it fills up, instead of going over that berm, it'll fill up all the way back here. I've seen it fill up all the way up to this.
It's still wet.
Yeah. I've seen the water fill up all the way up to this plant, and then it overflows into this swale. And it's great, like you can see how amazing like the plants are doing in here. Like we planted this honey mesquite in here right before the tropical storm, so it had a chance to get established. I have a feeling it's going to take off once temperatures go up. Like, look at this.
Wow.
And I don't irrigate anything in here.
So do you
This doesn't get irrigated.
Why do you put native grasses everywhere? Like all of your
native grasses everywhere. Yeah.
Oh.
Mostly, look at this. This turpentine broom is about to flower. It's have the most beautiful flowers. You see the purple? Yeah, it's about to flower. Yeah, this guy's loving it a lot more here. This is a little drainage right here that we stabilized with rock, and now it's not eroding. So look at that. You have a bunch of grasses getting established and sediment depositing here. This is just overall like a sweeter place to be for everybody involved. I like seeing this. Animals like visiting here. Plants obviously love it. Bees love this mustard. I'm pretty sure it's not native. I've seen bees all over this when it's flowering. Like crazy. We got the road water coming in here, going down this rock rundown. It's not gonna get overgrown with the native grass. It's probably Indian rice grass or buffalo grass or something like that. And then you have this mesquite that's going to grow big and provide some shade here. The microclimate is just going to evolve, and there's going to be more plants popping up that we wouldn't expect, that we haven't seen before. Like if you look around, there's no other spot that looks like this. And it's just simply a matter of shaping. Vibes. All it takes is a bipedal ape with opposable thumbs to come in here and shape the earth a little bit, and God does the rest. Nature does the rest.
God did.
Izzy said she didn't even notice that this was an intentional thing. This just looks like it's just here, right?
Yeah, it
but
is.
That's kind of like a good thing, that the structures can blend in, yeah, and eventually you're not even going to be able to see anything. All the sediment and silt is going to build up, the grass is going to overgrow it. nobody in the future is ever going to know that anybody did anything to make that happen, which I think is really cool. You don't want it to be obvious that somebody's manipulating the environment to make it do that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's a testament to how natural this type of design and infrastructure is. That it works so well that it'll become a part of the environment that's indistinguishable from the, like, quote unquote wild nature.
Wait, so do you think people were farming before and we didn't even know?
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Just because they didn't build structures or farm using, like, you know, stuff like concrete that's gonna stick around and be obviously man-made for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Yeah.
All these like, we'll call them organic societies. Everything that they built, most things that they built, all the evidence of them working in a region could have come a part of that you call wild. I mean, it's the same thing like when the settlers came here, when they saw the chestnut forests in the east, the chestnut and the sugar maple and the hazelnut and the currants and the raspberry and all these berries and everything. They didn't see that as a farm. They didn't understand that it was really a carefully managed farm, what you would call a farm. They came there and said, like, this is a paradise, this is a wild paradise. The only problem is the people here. We just got to take the people off. But what they didn't realize was that those Native Americans were actually a hyper keystone species in that environment.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what we have the potential to be wherever we may be in the world.
Yeah.
Is to be that hyper keystone species that can be a leader, that can lead, let's say, a desert, the driest desert in North America. We have the power to lead this ecosystem out of being a desert into being a grassland, into being a savannah, into being like a chaparral type environment. We can do that, and I feel like we are meant to do that. We are meant to look at landscapes on a large scale and look at what's working to produce more life and more diversity, more fertility, and encourage that while discouraging things that produce more death and things like erosion, loss of fertility, loss of moisture. The only thing that defines a desert is the rate of precipitation is lower than the rate of evaporation. So that means desertification is a process of drying out. And we can see that, you know, because we have these big brains that were made by nature, made through adaptation. We could see that and be like, oh, well, the more water there is, the more life there is.
Yeah.
So let's shape the land to accept all the water possible.
Yeah.
Like the design of a landscape has to take into account when the water's gonna come, how much water, where's it gonna go, like when, where, how, and then you just design for that, you know. In this ecosystem, we have one reliable rainy season. Let's plan for that. Let's harvest every single raindrop we can, spread it out, sink it, slow it down, store it in tanks, share it, because we know that the more water there is, the more life